Sup nerds, I'm CuppaJoey and welcome back to another episode of am I the butthole? Am I? Where people will be talking about their social conflicts and we can decide whether they are a butthole or not depending on their actions. Let's have a little peek. Am I the butthole for refusing to step down from my position as best man? My 26 female best friend Jay, 27 male, is getting married in February. If conditions allow, to this girl, L, 27 female. So just to confirm, OP in this case is a 26-year-old woman, and her best friend is a 27-year-old man getting married to a 27-year-old woman. For background, me and Jay have known each other for our entire lives because our parents are good friends. We're both from Russia and moved to America together several years ago and used to live together before he got with L. I see him as my brother now, but we did briefly date when I was 18, realised I'm a lesbian, but otherwise there has never been anything romantic between us. Back to the wedding. After announcing his engagement, Jay asked me to be his best woman for the wedding. I of course agreed. He's the most important person in my life. I'm honoured to be his best man. This was about 8 or 9 months ago, and at the time Elle seemed to have no issue with me taking on this role. However, a few days ago, Elle told me that she needed to talk to me about the wedding. She told me that she was not okay with Jay having a woman as his best man and that I needed to step down. I tried to rationalise with her and she went on this rant at me about how she knew I was secretly in love with him, how I was trying to break them up, that I was a bad person, etc. She tried to say now that she didn't want me at the wedding at all. I thought this was absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, Jay is like a brother to me. We only dated for maybe 5 months and she knows I like girls. I told Jay about what happened, and I asked if I should just step down, and he insisted I shouldn't and said he'd talk to Elle. Well, apparently that caused him to have a huge fight, and Elle is staying with her mum right now. She's been spamming my phone, telling me it's all my fault and that I'm destroying her relationship, but it's really not my intention. But after all this fighting, I wonder if I should have just agreed to step down. Am I the butthole? Note: sorry if some things don't make sense, English isn't my first language. Update. First of all, thank you everyone for your feedback, I appreciate it very much, and another thank you to the people who left some awards, that was very kind. But back to the issue. The news is honestly kind of crazy. Just a bit ago, Elle texted me that but instead of the rude thing she'd been saying, she apologised and asked if she could call me. I said yes, and Elle apologised profusely for what she said and assured me she didn't mean it. Unfortunately, the reason why she acted this way has caused big drama. God, I have no idea why I'm suddenly stumbling over the update a lot, but you know what, I'm not going to re-record this, so you're just going to have to suffer through it with me. Elle admitted to me that she'd been talking to Jay's sister. Her and Jay are on very bad terms, but she was still invited to the wedding, and that his sister told Elle these horrible things. The texts were along the lines of, Jay will always love OP more than you, he doesn't really love you, OP is secretly in love with Jay, and more awful things. Jay's sister has always seemed to hate me, I know this, but the fact that she did this all astounds me. Elle kept apologising for believing Jay's sister and not coming to me or Jay first. I forgive her and I understand why she acted the way she did. We told Jay about this and he's very angry about it. His relationship with his sister is completely done with and unfortunately she will not be at the wedding, but on the bright side, everything has worked out between me and Elle and there are no hard feelings. So that's about it. Once again, thank you to everyone who's given feedback. I appreciated it. You know, I feel like that update really just tied the story off together and explains so much of it. It really does, just prove to me that we are only seeing a certain amount of the story. Like, even if you just completely take away the bias that the OPs may or may not have in terms of wanting to seem good online, there's always something else that we're not hearing about. And I was gonna be like, you know what, screw the bride, she sounds freaking awful. But now that we have this backstory to it, you can see exactly why she was feeling that way. She was being emotionally manipulated, she was being hurt, she was being freaking abused by, her future sister-in-law. Now, if we're going to look at the story itself, I mean, before I read the update and I was thinking that the bride was awful, I was thinking, if gender really doesn't matter with these things, I do think that your best man should just be your best friend, the most important person to you. My partner for my upcoming wedding is going to have, a best person in the same way and not have bridesmaids. At the end of the day, with a wedding, it is all just about what the bride and the groom want, and, what other people want is, neither here nor there, or very secondary at most. And at first I thought this whole, her just suddenly going to her and going, you secretly love him, or you can't be the best man, that did seem very unnecessarily cruel at first, but when you see, that she was having all of these things to make her paranoid put in her minds, that would make sense. Also, even if OP is a lesbian, if she dated Jay for 5 months, I think that's like a natural thing to stir up a little bit of jealousy. Like, I think that would be normal that, if you say, oh, yeah, this is a person that I know and is part of my entire life, and although I see them as a brother and I'm actually a lesbian, I did date them for 5 months. You know, even though I do 100% believe that she's only interested in women and, perhaps dating Jay was part of, her journey to realising that she wasn't interested in men, it can still prey on somebody's mind, so I can understand how that jealousy would manifest itself. Although, now that you see that it's just a sister stirring the pot and everything's good and they're all good friends again, it sounds great because, let's face it, if Jay is as important to OP as she's saying he is, and as he clearly is, then she's gonna want to be best friends with his wife as well. So the fact that this actually had a good update at the end did make me feel a little bit better. I'm gonna just go ahead and say, because of the update, that there are no buttholes here. Am I the plague rat for causing a scene when my hairstylist majorly messed up my hair? I know this may sound petty since it's just my hair and it'll fix itself in like a week, but I was really peeved and my friend is calling me a butthole, so I need unbiased opinions. Earlier this week, I went to a hair salon close to my house. It was one of those franchised hair salons that have multiple locations around my city. I usually keep it pretty simple, short on the sides, long on the top, like a pseudo undercut but without the fade. As I was getting my hair cut, my stylist was talking to another stylist and not really focused on what she should be doing, which at that point was cutting my hair. She kept looking away to gossip to her co-worker, while at one point when she was trimming my sideburns, she looks away again to talk to her co-worker and ended up buzzing off a clean line from my forehead to just about past my ear. And I'm not sure if you believe me when I say I'm normally a pretty calm and composed person, but I freaked out. Probably the most I've ever freaked out on another person, and my last girlfriend cheated on me, and I wasn't as angry as I was at that moment. I hopped out of the chair, and this is from the best of my memory, but I said, "What the frick are you doing? Why the frick are you talking to your coworker when you should be paying attention? Look what you did! How can someone mess up this bad? What the frick is wrong with you? Are you freaking new or some crap? Did you recently graduation haircut school? Not sure what this is called. Oh wow, that was amazing." She started apologising and tried to get me to sit back down so she can fix it, but I didn't trust her anymore, and I demanded someone take her place, and I quote, "I need someone who actually knows how to cut hair, and I'm not sitting back down and have your incompetent butt continue to cut my hair. Do you think I'm daft or some crap?" She just hung her head down and looked like she was about to cry, and admittedly, I wanted to cry too. Luckily, another stylist just finished her clients and she finished up the job, not like there was any way to fix it, so she buzzed the rest of my sides and backed down to match the length of the mistake. That is, remove the hair since trimming settings on the clippers take it down to nothing, and now I look like a frickin' paintbrush. After everything was all said and done, they copped my haircut, but I still tossed a few bucks to the stylist that attempted to fix it, and I asked for the contact information for the manager, and I was on my way. I contacted the number later, and they told me they were already aware of what happened and it's being investigated. Now, what brings me to why I made this post, I was telling my friend about what happened and he thinks I was a major butthole and that I didn't need to freak out that bad, and you probably cost that woman her job over hair that'll grow back. Yes, I know it'll grow back, but it's called doing your job and not being distracted while cutting someone's hair, Jesus freaking Christ. Am I the butthole? So this one is definitely kind of a mix of everybody sucks here and you're the butthole, I would say. So let's just take everything at face value. Let us assume that OP is just being 100% truthful and telling things completely unbiased in this situation. It's still massively inappropriate to react to somebody that way. So if that were the case, if it is exactly as he is saying, then of course the hairdresser, the barber, was being completely inappropriate. She should have definitely been concentrating on her job, especially one where it's, it's supposed to boost somebody's self-esteem. It's the way that somebody looks. It lasts for a few weeks at least, or a couple of weeks. This kind of style, this kind of representation does definitely mean a lot to people, so I can see why he would get so angry at her doing that. However, having that complete freaking tantrum in the middle of the shop was totally unacceptable. Screaming at somebody saying, "What the frick is wrong with you? Are you an idiot? Are you new? Did you just graduate?" Like, not just telling somebody off for what they did, but just insulting them based on, their profession. It is incredibly rude and just really, really not the way to handle this kind of thing. Like, just think about the absolute humiliation that the hairdresser would have felt. Now, if we have a look at how each of these people are going to be sort of taking that situation, and again, this is like assuming that OP is telling the complete truth throughout all of this. He will be going away with a bad haircut, probably a bit frustrated for a while, but then, and again, a little bit out of pocket, he's got a haircut that he's not too happy about. But that's it, and he can certainly cope with that. Whereas, like, that would probably affect me if somebody, like, screamed at me at work. That would, like, legit just shake me for the next few weeks. I'd be feeling really crap about my work. I'd just be like, that would just totally shatter my self-esteem. I'm not even kidding. I'm a very fragile boy. And the fact that, like, he humiliated her in public in front of her boss, in front of her colleagues, like, screaming at her until she cried. Like, no. I'm sorry, but messing up your haircut, that is just not an acceptable reaction. Now, bearing in mind that everything that I said up until now, I said this is assuming that OP is telling the truth throughout all of this, sorry, because I am not entirely sure that he is. Just little things like, "Oh, when my girlfriend cheated on me, I wasn't even as angry then," and, "Oh, I never get this angry," and like trying to make her seem a lot worse than she was. It just reads biased, This reads like somebody who is just, he's a Karen, okay? Let's just call it what it is. This guy's a Karen, and he is just like absolutely had this huge angry meltdown as somebody who probably isn't getting paid enough, It said it's a hairdressing franchise, right? If it's a chain, they're not going to be, like, getting paid anywhere near as much as, like, say, an independent shop might pay a stylist. So this is somebody who, and again, if they're not getting paid that much, then maybe they're not going to be paying attention. Again, it's not acceptable, especially when you're paying for a service, but still. I just feel like this was a totally wrong reaction, and, like, even if you are angry, like, I've been freaking angry at jobs worse and, bad service, like, it has really annoyed me to the point that I have gone home angry for the day. Like, I have dealt with some really horrible people, but I still wouldn't actively humiliate them like this in front of everyone. That just rubbed me up the wrong way, buddy. And again, like, the way it goes, "Oh, this is from the best of my memory," but I said, and then it was like all this really horrible stuff. I'm sure that there was a lot worse that the guy just isn't saying, especially when it goes, "I'm not sure if you believe me when I normally say I'm pretty calm, but this made me angry." Like, I'm sorry, but somebody who is screaming at a hairdresser for, like, messing up their hair, and then going, "Oh no, I'm normally really calm," I don't think so. I don't think that something that small would tip you over the edge. And yeah, I get that hair is a huge expression and everything, but you know what? Even if I, like, shaved all of my hair off, like, my hair just got freaking shaved, I got waxed. I got waxed and buffed. I got, like, a bald going on. I got the Squidward. Even if I got the Squidward when I did want the Squidward, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It grows, I mean, it would be one thing if it was, like, really long hair that was really important, but from what this guy said, it's just, like, a little shave that's going to be back in a couple of weeks. Like, this is just a huge fuss over very little, I think. So, yeah, I'm actually swaying towards you're the butthole on this one. You might have seen on my page that I now have a Patreon. So for just £2, you will get exclusive access to my blooper reel with unseen bits that I haven't yet posted on this channel. And at the highest tier, you will get your name in credits at the end of my videos. Bearing in mind that I post a video 5 times a week, that's a lot of videos you're going to get your name in credits on. If not, a little like and a subscribe on my channel help a lot. Well, that's it for this episode of r/Am I the Butthole. Honestly, I would absolutely love to know what you think down in the comments. Did you think that these people were buttholes? Did you think that there's some information that we're lacking? Do you think that everybody sucked? Do you think that they did the right thing? Or do you think that they were just telling this story from a majorly biased lens? You know, there's always a few that just really want to seem like they're not a butthole when, you know, they kind of were. And as I say at the end of every episode, if you enjoyed hearing from this subreddit or would like to hear from any other subreddit, then do let me know in the comments. And until then, I'll see you all next time.